Some good news to start this evening, released from the hospital. Only one person is still being treated tonight after the massive explosion rocked the Clifton neighborhood. We have more new coverage for you tonight from the WHAS11 night team. I'm Doug Proffitt. 9 people have now been sent home, as we also learned very early this morning that 2 workers had died. Team coverage tonight, Clarice Shaley covering neighbors as they work to find out who's going to pay up for all of this damage to their homes. Alex Dieterer and photojournalist Aspen Hester on the growing concerns from the city's top leaders over the death of a worker whose body was found hours after rescuers had been told everybody was accounted for. Alex is back live right now in Clifton. You know, Alex, the mayor also pointed out today that the company was invited to the news conference this morning, but they did not come.
Right, Doug. The only time we've really heard from the company so far is in a press release that was sent to WHAS 11 this morning. And Mayor Greenberg did invite representatives of the company to the conference held this morning, but they did not show up. Now, initially, city leaders, including Greenberg and emergency services, were told that all of the company's employees were accounted for. But unfortunately, that was not the case. The fire department did find one body inside of the building underneath rubble late last night. And now that brings the death toll to now 2.
At some point they learned, oh, there might be one more person missing, and so I don't know, I just thought that was an odd way for things to play out. Like, they weren't sure about who was in the building.
Frustration after rescuers and city leaders were told quickly after the blast that all employees were accounted for, but it wasn't the case.
So we'd been told by the business that all of the employees were accounted for. Tragically, that was not the case.
The body of a worker was found under the massive debris of the food additive plant hours after the blast. For the first time, we learned how emergency leaders found out.
When the family started showing up, we started getting the calls back that said that, hey, there still may be someone else in the building.
Louisville EMS Executive Director Jody Myman said once crews were told by a family member that there could be other victims in the building, Louisville firefighters went right back inside.
They found that person within an hour, and they had to do a lot of debris removal, and then they were able to get them out in about 2.5 to 3 hours.
There was a tremendous level of trauma to this victim.
A fatal explosion felt by neighbor Matt Rosenfield.
And then the house shook, the couch shook. I heard glass rattle.
That could have ended in more tragedy.
Some of those buildings, facilities like that are made to blow out like that. So when they're made to blow out, it doesn't create pressure from an explosion inside.
As for the future of the plant in the Clifton neighborhood, Metro Council's Andrew Owen had a blunt answer.
The neighbors want the company gone.
For now, it's too early to say.
Business is complicated, and of course it's tragic, but what can be done in practice, I'm not sure. Yeah.
Now, this fatal explosion comes after an explosion in 2003 that killed 1 person. Now, out of respect for the victims and their families, at this time, the names of the employees are not being released. In Clifton, with photojournalist Aspen Hester, Alex Dieterer, the WHAS 11 night team on your side.
Alex, thank you. More of our continuing coverage right now here on the night team. Businesses and residents are already making up lists, running up the losses and damages, totaling them up. City leaders have been clear. The company needs to pay up and cover the expenses. Here's what Clifton's council member Andrew Owen had to say about that.
Everyone within a certain area is going to need to do a structural inspection of their house. And if they have damage, that's something that is going to have to be dealt with. And from my perspective, that's all liability that lies with the company.
WHAS 11 News learned from neighborhood leader Mike O'Leary tonight that Clifton neighbors are going to be holding a meeting about the explosion coming up on Monday. It's going to be at 6 p.m. Monday night at the United Crescent Hill Ministries building on State Street. You're invited to be there, and Metro Council member Andrew Owen will also be there. He'll be answering all questions. And those questions will certainly be about the cost on all of this. So WHAS 11 night teams Clarice Shaley and photojournalist Levi Hammer headed back to the neighborhood tonight to get new information about those losses. Clarice, what have you been learning about that?
Yes, Doug. Well, that debris from the explosion yesterday, it can still be seen here on Payne Street. And of course, people are being told to leave things be. That debris is still in people's homes, even in people's yards here. One is covered by a tarp, this large piece of metal here. But just moments ago, I could still hear people boarding up their broken windows with plywood. I'm being told that they're keeping every single receipt as they wonder who's going to pay for this.
A rod came through the regular window and then all that stuff blew out.
Payne Street residents still are collecting the pieces of the destruction from the Clifton plant explosion. Randy Crumley losing his home to the destruction and almost everything inside.
The bulk of my stuff was like sitting right there, computer, laptop. This is my workstation. If I'd have been sitting there, we'd be having a very different conversation.
Now staying with a friend after the property manager told him he needs to leave.
It just sounded like a bomb went off.
Katie Dignan and Andy White got out of it lucky.
That held the glass from shattering all over the couch and all over the dogs and him.
Yeah,
So.
thank God.
Leaving cracks in the walls, a shattered window, and a busted door frame. They're hoping the company pays for the damages.
Potentially decrease our property value and to make our insurance go up over something that you guys messed up isn't great, isn't cool. I don't like that.
Metro Council member Andrew Owen agrees.
From my perspective, that's all liability that lies with the company.
They better cough up something.
Now, I do want to add that Crumley is receiving his deposit back and this month's rent, but he's still without a home. And to the residents that I've been speaking with today, they've been busy filing those insurance claims to costs of damages they still don't have an amount to. Live in the Clifton neighborhood, Clarice Shaley, WHAS 1119 on your side.
Clarice, thank you very much. New information tonight about one problem that developed during the emergency yesterday, and that has certainly angered residents in Clifton. We've been hearing from you about it. The citywide Lens Alert system, emergency message that are sent to your cell phone and email. Well, they were nowhere to be found after 3 o'clock on Monday. At the news conference this morning, Louisville Emergency Services Director Jody Myman brought it up and said that there was a human error for the text alert and the email that's being now handled internally. He said the Lens Alert did go out over social media, but again, not text messages and email. City leaders are still encouraging you to sign up for Lens Alert. It's very helpful. Go to the Louisville Metro Emergency Services website, or you can text the word Lens Alert to this number on your screen. Again, text the word Lens Alert to 67283. Chief Meteorologist Ben Pine tracking a lot of green on that radar. Ben, and some points tonight, it's been coming down hard.
Yeah, you got it. Over an inch of rainfall in many locations. After a dry October, it's turning out to be a wet November, and we have more rain on the way for tonight. So weather impact alert, just to give you a heads up, it's going to be wet out there through the overnight and through early tomorrow morning. Plan on still some wet roads out there as you head out for your Thursday morning drive. Radar and satellite, as we zoom a little bit closer, got a little bit of a break right now in Louisville, but still going to have these scattered showers around through the overnight hours. You see a batch there just off to the south of Louisville. So we'll see the heavy stuff move off to the east, some leftover sprinkles and drizzle out the door tomorrow morning. Pretty gloomy day for our Thursday with clouds and cool temperatures in the mid to upper 50s for tomorrow. Lows in the lower 50s with that steady rain overnight, turning to sprinkles tomorrow morning. 56 at noon, our high temperature at 59 tomorrow, which is pretty normal for this time of the year. We're going to have sunshine return this weekend with mild temperatures, but some of the weather models hinting at our first snow chances. We'll talk more about that coming up in our full forecast.
More of our top stories, all new on the night team. Under fire tonight, John Marshall, the chief equity officer for JCPS, for what he posted on social media 2 days ago. Kentucky Republicans from Louisville want him gone by tomorrow, and they're in solidarity about it. But the school board chairman is telling us it's Marshall's First Amendment right to say what he did. WHAS 1119's Alexandra Goldberg is here with all sides of this growing controversy, and it could come to a close maybe tomorrow, Alexandra.
Doug, right. Well, it would be up to Superintendent Marty Pollio to make any decisions about this. And of course, those dozen state lawmakers are calling on Pollio to remove John Marshall from his position as the chief equity officer at JCPS. But the board chairman and civil rights leaders are saying it's Marshall's right to speak freely and on social media. This tweet by JCPS Chief Equity Officer John Marshall is stirring up controversy. Marshall posting November 11th, quote, regardless of the rooms, meetings, classes, etc. you're in, know the majority of whites could care less about you and have no issues harming you.
What he said is virulently racist. It instigates violence on behalf of students. and he needs to be gone before school starts tomorrow.
The tweet is a really clear mirror for the GOP caucus and the way that many people see their policies, see their advocacy of unmitigated white supremacy.
Louisville's Republican contingent wants Marshall out before the morning bell rings tomorrow. But prominent Louisville professor and columnist Dr. Ricky Jones says, don't you dare resign. This is what they try to do to black men in Kentucky who tell the truth. Representative Jason Nemes of Middletown disagrees.
This particular comment made to students is disgusting. It's racist at the core. And it instigates violence. I mean, what he told African American students was, the majority of white people want to hurt you.
JCPS board chairman Corey Scholl says it's Marshall's First Amendment right, and he won't reprimand Marshall.
A seasoned veteran educator for a tweet that reflected his opinions and reflections upon what's happening nationally.
He can say these kinds of things as a citizen. He cannot say these kinds of things making $200,000 as the chief equity officer at JCPS.
Scholl saying this is a part of a larger attack on diversity, equity, and inclusion in education. A JCPS spokesperson gave us this statement, quote, Dr. Marshall's social media post was not made on behalf of his employer, end quote. Live in the studio, Alexandra Goldberg, WHAS 1119, on your side. Doug.
Alexandra, thank you. Another story we're following developing tonight. Human remains have been discovered in Scott County, Indiana, not far north of Louisville, according to the sheriff's office. The remains were found in the area where a mother was reported missing in September of this year. According to a social media post, the sheriff's office and Indiana State Police were searching for Amanda Martin, a 40-year-old mom who's been missing since September 13th. The sheriff's office says the skeletal remains were found and recovered and are now scheduled for a forensic examination to confirm the identity and cause of death, which could take 6 to 8 weeks from now. In a statement, the sheriff, Jerry Gooden, said in part, we are saddened by the discovery of the remains discovered yesterday, but we also realize a family can now possibly begin to heal, end quote. And Gooden went on to say that investigation is still ongoing.